Hey there YouTube, welcome back. This is the Allegheny Northern in N scale, and this is a 2-month update, so it's going to be a little bit longer than usual. So lots happened in January and February. It's been very cold, very snowy, and pretty gross here in the mid-Atlantic, and that has led to plenty of modeling time. So let's go ahead and jump from the train action here and let's show you what's been done. Okay, probably the biggest progress has been on the upper deck, getting the scenery ready. There's a lake that's going to be there. Started working on ballasting, repainted that dump truck that was really shiny, and used some different techniques here to get it muddy and gross. Built a second one, this one in the dump position. So those are ready to go here. Worked on some scenery at the actual tipple itself. Put in an access road and actually used ties there to keep the stone away from the rails, keep the flangeway cleared. Static grass on the hillside there, no trees yet, scenery's not done. Actually, the static grass isn't done either. It's just sort of in a state of flux. Did get some 3D printed items. One that I'm real happy with is the tamper. So it's obviously an unpowered model, but it's one of the few maintenance away things that you can actually find in N scale. So it's like I said, it's 3D printed. I did put a set of wheels on there, so it does roll, it does fit on the tracks. Got the new entranceway together for the mine, and in the spirit of 2020, I put in some N-scale Democrats, and we bounce back over here. That's the end of the scenery as far as the upper level is going. Now the next step here, bring you down, and there is a ton of lighting. It's all been added to the structures. So I've got it on that side, the doorway in the back there. Rebuilt this roadway, so there was no road here, no way to access this building. So I did put in some street lights. These are the N scale just plug street lights. I also threw some roof ballast up here on the structure. So got that roadway in and painted. I'll pause here as our intermodal runs by. And we can stay in town here for just a bit. So I did get some police officers, and you notice they're kind of standing in some weird locations here. I am going to have some police cars in here that light up and everything, so I made way for those when the time comes. Probably the biggest change on the lower level was that I redid all of this scenery here. I put in an access road, so there's a road now that leads to this complex. Before there wasn't anything there. Put in a new grade crossing, street lights, street signs, road, all that sort of stuff. And then in addition to the fence that got added around here, I put in this access road. So the idea is that this track that's holding the maintenance away equipment now will be basically a spotting track or a holdover track. So it'll either be maintenance away equipment or it'll be stuff for the local here. There's our local hanging out right now. I reworked this scene. There was a bunch of different scenery techniques in here, and some of it worked, some of it didn't. So I cleaned that all up. And that included repainting the engine shed I did add another light here to the doorway, air conditioner to the office side, and then of course repainted the building itself. I also reworked the platform. In the process of changing the scenery, I sort of damaged a big chunk of it here, so I had to put in new platform grates. So I took that opportunity to sort of repaint it and redo that scene. I got this little fueling depot built and painted and weathered. I don't know where it's going to go yet. My intention was that this was going to go somewhere for either a local or the short line to stop, but it doesn't really have a good place right now. So that's still up in the air where that's going to go. I do have a station platform. It's going to go in and around this area somewhere. This is going to be where my commuter stops. There is a second one, matches it, and it's going to go right there. And it is going to also be a point for people who would work at the mine, because the mine is right over there, where they would get off and walk to the gate. So that's going to be there. I do have the lumberyard building that's going to be built for that area. It's still sitting in the back, so it's not quite done yet. Other than that, no other work has happened on the upper level. Well, no work has happened on the passenger terminal itself. I did cut in this new access road that runs across all of the terminal tracks and to the gate, and the access road for our engine terminal. I was finally able to find some more model power. They're called utility workers, but they work great for these construction scenes. So I found another package of those, and it was just one, but it gave me enough people to put around my building scene. And then as we jump over here, another 3D printed model that was just finished is this line painting crew. And so there's a 3D printed line painter, and yeah, that guy's stuck. I don't want to pull him off the layout, but if you flip around to the back side here, you can see that there is a orange arrow on the back of that truck. And if you watched my video of the Mow kit being built, you know that I saved some scrap pieces to build cones, and that's the end result of those scrap pieces and cones. So that worked out pretty nicely. I'm happy with those. Okay, I'm in the process of installing new gates here. In addition to those new gates, I have painted repainted this stretch of road. I've lined it, including this parking lot. It's got parking spots now, bays for the trucks to pull up to the dock, and then an employee parking in the back here. Another 3D painted vehicle is this front load garbage truck, and then it does have dumpsters that go with it, obviously. They are in the back of these businesses, ready for pickup. And I've got my service station here with its fence around it. And while we're staying up on town, here's the front of the supermarket. No stores in there yet. And DQ, everything's painted up. And then we've got lights on this side of town too. And they actually wrap around to the front of the shopping district here, so that they are on that sidewalk. And then just because sometimes I like to have a little bit of fun and be goofy, here's some fishermen caught a little bit more than they bargained for. I did take some time out to work on some rolling stock, and that was this Micro Trains tie loader. So there's our loader. That was built and weathered. The ramp, built and weathered. And then the tie loads. And then I have an Atlas GP38 that I weathered up. And I add some details, MU hoses and cut levers to the front and rear pilots of the model. Some more 3D printed goodies that are in some state of progress, and I'm going to include these in this update since a lot of this work happened in January and February. I've got a 3D printed tanker truck that's going to be on the layout. It's going to be over at the liquid asphalt storage facility. I have two skid steers that I just happened to paint to look more like Bobcat. And these are going to go in two locations where the two paving crews are. You don't really see a paving crew without a skid steer or some kind of a loader. So that's where those are going to go. I do have another paver. This one's on tracks. No, I didn't really need another paver, but I really like paving equipment. So I didn't have one on tracks. So we're going to finish this one up. Right now it's just got its base coats on of yellow and black, and we're going to get in there and detail those trucks, rollers on the crawlers, and some other things. So that's coming up. There's a semi truck that is going to pull the tanker here. So I've got the rig portion of it. It's got a sleeper unit, and this fits together like that. So it's got one coat of blue on it. The tires need to go on. This all needs painted and detailed. Here's the rest of those cones that I made, so they're ready to be cut out and used. And then here is an interesting piece. This is a Trackmobile. And what I like about the Trackmobile is the designer that put this on Shapeways designed it so that these wheels are actually movable. So you can push them up and put it into track mode, and you can pull them down and put it into driving mode. So obviously it's not a functioning Trackmobile, right? But my thought was, since my programming track is isolated on the layout at the engine terminal, but you could theoretically line the turntable for it and pull a locomotive onto it. My thought was, I'm going to set this right at the edge there, so that it looks good. It's sitting on the layout, and it looks like the engine terminal has a Trackmobile to move locomotives around. And two, it is a visual deterrent so that you don't accidentally pull a locomotive off of the turntable and into the programming track. So once that gets all painted up and is ready to go, that's where he's going to sit. So, but it is nice that you have the, for pictures and whatnot, you can move these wheels around, and you can put it into road mode or track mode. So that's pretty cool. Okay, I've got a few more of these Just Plug lighting systems. I'm actually going to do a very short video coming up on these Just Plug systems. In general, it's a nice set. They work very well. There's some caveats to it, so we're going to go over some of the caveats, lessons learned, so to speak. But these are pretty cool, and they've got some other things coming out. If you've read, either Model Railroad or seen online, so I'm looking forward to what Will & Scenics does this year. Also coming up here, I told you I had damaged some of the platforms at the engine terminal, and I have some extra ones, so I think I may actually use these somewhere on the coal mine. They need to be painted and assembled, but stay tuned for that. I'm working on something for that. Also, I kept alluding to the wood company, so I do have this from Walthers. It is not assembled yet. It is still sitting in its box, in pieces. So it looks like it's going to be a little bit of time to build that. Also picked up some Monroe weathering powders. I've seen these used in some videos online. I found a set when I made a hobby shop run, so I picked those up, and I actually used them on some of the 3D printed stuff, and so far I like what I see. Also, I picked up something from AK Interactive. This is called Ice Sparkles, and it is designed to make slushy looking snow. You mix it with either a gloss medium or a water product and other snow materials, and it makes some melted looking snow. So I'm getting ready to redo the transition scene between winter and fall, and this is going to come in handy as part of that redo. And last but not least, these are left over from Christmas. I've got some surprises coming. 3D printed, of course. And I sort of have a funny scene set up for what I'm going to do with these. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, because until I do it, I don't want to ruin the surprise. But there's something funny coming with these little guys, so stay tuned for that. And then I still have my Showcase Manager's truck. I keep putting it off. Gonna try to get that built. So got a lot of work coming up this this month here, which will be March. So we'll see how much of that actually gets accomplished. But plenty of projects coming up.